There was a quote I recently heard that said something like, "The world is mind." Now, this quote can be most likely, and well, obviously, it's as wrong as it can be, because the world is not mind. The mind is a tool that can be used to perceive the world, but basically, it is that which is used to interpret the world, which is even worse. The world is perceived by the physical body through its own potential and limitations, so the world is not seen as it is. If one can see less than 1% of the visual spectrum of light, how can you actually say you're seeing the world or the universe for what it is? Even if you use machines that are capable of seeing all the light spectrums, you still have to align all that vision, right? All those visuals in such a way that the human eye can perceive it. Because let's not forget, machines can be made to perceive any number of colors, but ultimately the human eye can also perceive around 1 million color depths, right? 1 million color versions, but ultimately it pays no importance to the mind, because if you see a book that has a cover, for example, which is fully red, there are thousands of variations of that red color based on angling and the light and how light reaches your eye, because if there's no light there is also no color. What we also see is funny because it's actually what we don't see. In order to see the color of an object, that color has to bounce off the surface. So if it bounces off the surface, it's basically not that color. So if you see a blue object, technically that object is basically all the other colors except blue, because uh, blue has ricocheted off of it, right? Blue has bounced off, has been repelled by that object because its vibration and certain specifics don't simply allow the attraction of color blue, right? Every object, in order to have a certain color, well, every object attracts light because ultimately light helps it stay stabilized. It is a energy feeding, one may say. When that light spectrum reaches, a part of it is absorbed and a part of it is simply expelled. Just like plants. Plants aren't green. They are green just because our eyes see it. Our eyes see that because it's the color that bounces off the surface of the leaves, right? And, well, that's kind of one way to put it. The world may be mental. Yes, definitely. A sick society that we live in is definitely mental. But the world is definitely not mind. The mind is just the subjective part that one may use, well, at the brain level, to simply interact and interpret things. Interpreting things doesn't bring in reality, it just creates your own reality. And when you live in your own reality, well, that's already kind of cuckoo. And when one stays to think about, well, when people feel very bad, when people are, devastated emotionally, what they will do is they will naturally withdraw into the mind, because the mind is all about control. The first moment that the mind can't have control, it will want to withdraw or get into a place of control. So that is the mind of a wounded child, because the child wants love, the child wants a, sen- a certain sense of control. If you look at children, they're all impulsive. They all want the parents' attention and they will do literally anything to simply draw the parents' attention. If there are sufficient traumas, those children won't develop past that level. So the point is, they might grow into adults because, well, what we say is time flies for the physical body, but well, it's not actually time. It's more like the life force within that physical body is flowing, and it's kind of also dripping away. So, well, yes, the physical body gets older, but even if it gets older, the mind still remains that of a child. That is the state of a lot of people nowadays. And well, it's been for a so long time because, well, that's one of the effects of ignorance. If you disregard yourself, you're gonna live just like a wounded child. Now, the point is, shortly said, when one feels bad, when one feels traumatized enough, they want to withdraw within, right? They want to go inside. Because when you live in the mind, Everything is possible. Your imagination is there, and you can literally build everything. You have a false sense of control and basically a false sense of security. You might have control over what you create, but the mind naturally creates. If you create impulsively, well, you're adding to the pain because you're still ignorant to your own problems. The mind can create by its own. It just does, and it will always do. That's how the mind works. Take, for example, your dreams. In probably less than 1% of the cases are you capable of creating your own dreams. But in most situations, dreams are, well, exhaustions of karma, right? You're letting karma out. And, well, dreams happen. Dreams are created by what you have put into your mind, and the mind can do that without your help. So, the mind is a powerful tool. But it can also be a very powerful prison if people choose to sit in there, because you have a false sense of control. But the question is, who is the one who has the control? Is it you that has the control over the mind, or is it that you broke your mind? Because be it that you live in the mind or you simply don't take it into account, the mind will still create. When you're using the mind forcefully to create, that means you're running away from your pains. That means you're running away from responsibilities. You're distracting yourself. And that's giving you a sense of power. That is one way through which you can easily rule people. All this being said, hopefully you found this video introspective enough. You are appreciated. Take care of yourselves. Ferenc Board signing out.